long journey to justice for the victims, their loved ones, and this community. And I can promise you every step of the way we are going to fight incredibly hard to secure the right outcome in this case. You will hear me say at the start of each one of these gatherings that we have that the defendant has a constitutional right to a fair trial. I will do everything I can in my power to protect his constitutional right to a fair trial and to ensure that that right is preserved. I'll do that because, first of all, it's the right thing to do. Second of all, I want to make sure that we do not impact the defendant's right to a fair trial being held here in Boulder County. What I mean by that is if I say things that cross the legal and ethical lines that are allowed for prosecutors under Rule 3.6 and Rule 3.8, that will then certainly generate a defense motion to move the trial to somewhere else in the state of Colorado. And I want to make sure the people of Boulder County have an opportunity for this case to be held here, for this trial to be conducted here, and for the right result to be reached right here in this courthouse. We have filed 10 counts of murder in the first degree and 1 count of attempted murder in the first degree for one of the police officers who had responded to the scene. Additional counts will certainly be filed in the next couple weeks, and once that document is filed with the court, we will make it available to the community and to the public. As you heard from the judge today, if you were watching on WebEx, the Public Defender's Office has been appointed to represent the defendant. Again, this is the first step in what will be a lengthy process for us to secure justice for the victims, their loved ones, and this community. The defense asked for what's called a status conference before setting the case over for a hearing called proof evident and presumption great. As you may know, in the state of Colorado, when a defendant is being held without bond and is being held in custody without the possibility of release on a first-degree murder charge, he's entitled to a proof evident presumption great hearing. At that hearing, which will be conducted unless the defendant waives his right to it, you'll hear a lot about the evidence in the case, and I anticipate that at the status conference, a date for that hearing will be set. So that's what I anticipate being the next couple of court proceedings ahead. I will say just very briefly, as in other mass shootings and tragedies in the state of Colorado, the response has been incredible. So federal, state, and local agencies are partnering together, and the teamwork is exactly what it should be. And it's why I'm confident that we'll be able to secure the right result in this case. So right now, over at the Boulder Police Department, the King Soopers, and at different locations through the metro area, we have our federal, state, and local partners working hand in hand, making sure that everything is being done so that the investigation can be completed and that the prosecution will be successful. Obviously, the defendant is innocent unless and until proven guilty. You'll hear me say that every time I meet with you. He's presumed innocent from the first time the charges are filed all the way to the completion of the prosecution. If you have a couple questions about the process, I'm happy to do my best to answer those.
Do you anticipate an insanity defense?
It's too early for me to say. You likely heard what the defense said on the record in there, and we'll have to see how things unfold in court.
Are you concerned that the defense will say that he's unfit to stand trial?
We'll have to see how it unfolds in court. It's too early for me to anticipate what defense they may pursue.
Do you know if he's on suicide watch or in protective custody when he's in jail?
I do not have that information right now.
The defense said they needed to assess his mental illness, and that was why the status hearing has been postponed for a couple, 3 months. What is the process for him now to get his mental health assessed?
So there's a process that is used in cases where that's actually an issue, and we'll see if that's the process they follow in this case. It's too early for me to tell what the defense is going to be.
But you don't know what defendants would go through to have their mental health assessed?
I do know how that would work if that's what they do, but it's too early for me to know if that's the defense they're going to pursue. Any other questions about the process at all?
How hard is it going to be to find 12 jurors, fair jurors?
I'm confident that in the state of Colorado, and particularly here in Boulder County, that we could find 12 people who will be fair and who will be open-minded and reach the right verdict when the time comes. Of course, as you know, I mean, all of you are experienced in this world, but I'll say to the community, in any homicide case, it takes at least a year for that case to be tried to completion. That's true in every homicide case and every homicide trial that we have here in Boulder County and throughout the state of Colorado. I anticipate that will be true in this case as well. This is the beginning of a lengthy process that I anticipate will take at least a year to try to completion.
That additional charge, do you know, where's the police officer? Was he, injured?
I'm sorry, because the mask, I didn't hear the first part of your question.
Okay, that additional charge, is the police officer injured in the hospital, or what can you tell us about that?
Sure. As reflected in the affidavit, which was filed with the court and available to the public, there was an officer who it's alleged was shot at but was not injured during the interaction with the accused.
Alisa was not in court today, right? Were you able to see him on the video conference? Because we were not here.
The defendant was in court today, yes.
Oh, he was physically in court?
He was physically in court. I didn't realize you couldn't, I don't know what WebEx,
yeah.
He was in court, yes.
What kind of additional charges are you considering?
There will be additional charges for additional victims, and I'll be able to give you more information on that once the investigation and the crime scene processing is complete. As you know, the crime scene is still being processed by the FBI evidence recovery team. They are the best of the best, and they're going through the crime scene. I anticipate we'll have an update for you on the crime scene processing and its completion in the next couple days. And once that's complete, I'll be able to give you more information. And when we file additional charges, I'll certainly share that with the community and with the media.
Are you still holding a press conference tomorrow with the police chief?
I do believe additional information will be released tomorrow to the media and to the community, yes.
Can you describe the suspect's demeanor in court?
No, actually. I mean, I was focused on the judge, to be honest, so I didn't really focus on the defendant, and we're all wearing masks, so it makes it hard to determine one's demeanor. I think in the future we'll have a better opportunity to assess the demeanor of individuals in court. So I think my name is Michael Dougherty. I am the district attorney, and with me today is Ken Kuffner, the assistant district attorney. Thanks so much for being here today, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Mike, at what point will competency review take place?
That's a good question. It's really early in the process. Choose to pursue or not. Okay? Thanks.